I seem to have gained a new friend. Hey, you can't go in there, that's my boot. Come on. Right, let's see if I can get him out. But it's actually a tree with a bit of a gruesome past. That dancing ledge. Oh, isn't this just beautiful? Down these grooves. But just look at that. But look at this sky. That wasn't forecasted. Cheers! Well, good morning, and it's another lovely day in Dorset. Forecast is mixed today, so yes, right on a walk. You may have recognised the first part of the walk, not the cat. He was an invader into my boot. But the village I've started at is Worth Matravers, as you may have recognised. And we are going to do a walk which will take in the coastal quarries. It'll be a fantastic walk, I know, regardless of what the weather does. And I've brought the drone with me as well, so I'm hoping to get some drone footage over the coast and over the quarries. Does depend on the wind. Notice walking along this sort of inland part that there's a bit of a breeze blowing. But fingers crossed it'll be okay. Anyway, I'll tell you more about the walk as we go, but let's crack on. Hope you're going to join me. Promises to be a fantastic day. It feels so good to be out again. If you've been following me, you'll know that I've had an awful summer with long COVID, and I was kind of just about getting over that and starting to get out, managed to shoot a few films, and just as I thought I was getting over it, I went down with yet another virus and it set me back again. So I think that one is now on its way out as well, and feeling like I can get out walking again, and it feels amazing. So yes, I started from Worth Matravers. We've walked from here a number of times. It's a really good starting point for any walk around here because there's quite a few paths you can take. So at the moment I am following the Priest's Way, and if you've been following me you'll know I've walked this way before, so you may remember what the Priest's Way is. It is the route the priest used to take back in the day when Swanage Church and Worth Matravers Church were both part of the same group, and the priest used to walk this route, or ride on his horse this route, between the two centres. The interesting thing for me always is the fact that Worth Matravers is actually the main church. Swanage is a subsidiary church, and that always seems the wrong way round now, because Swanage is the town. It's built up a lot more. But we won't be going right through to Swanage on this one. I will go as far as Spyway Barn and then drop down to Dancing Ledge, and then head west from Dancing Ledge. So we'll be taking in all the quarries, Dancing Ledge, Seacombe, Hedbury, Winspit, and then back inland to Worth Matravers again. Beauty of this route is you can shorten it or extend it. I could go all the way up onto St Aldham's Head, and go inland from there. I could go further than that, in fact, but I don't think I probably will, because I haven't done that much walking again. I need to kind of build up a bit of fitness. Anyway, that's the route. I'll put a map up anyway so you can see more or less where we're going, but I'm hoping we'll be able to get to explore the quarries a bit more, because I seem to remember last time I did this, and in fact I have filmed the quarries before, but you never seem to get enough time to explore them. You're always, because you've got miles and miles to walk. So hopefully I'll build in enough time to be able to linger a little bit at the quarries. And the other thing, I'm hoping to be able to go and look at Worth Matravers Church, because that was something which I couldn't do before because it's shrouded in scaffolding. They were having work done. So we'll see how we go. It'll be great anyway, whatever. So down in the distance we can see Swanage, and right across in the distance over here you can see the Isle of Wight. That's well lit up by the sun over there. I always think this is a good path to walk. Good in winter actually, because it's obviously stony and chalky, but yeah, it's good in winter because obviously no mud. Now you could probably just imagine hundreds of years ago the priest riding his horse along here, heading to Swanage maybe to take a service or something. The times change, eh? Look how long that must have taken compared to today. That kind of gentler way of life. Is that right? Probably rose-coloured spectacle view, because I'm sure life had some major bad points back in those days. People died younger and that sort of thing, but yeah, the pace of life, maybe. And we got some sun. Still quite cloudy, but I don't mind actually that. It's bright enough, so hopefully the film will come out okay. I woke up this morning actually thinking that Worth was a funny name for a village. Because Worth, well, these days it means it's all to do with value, isn't it? So I kind of thought that's strange. But actually it gets its name from Worth, which was an old English word that actually means enclosure, or meant enclosure. So that's where Worth gets its name. Matravers was named after the family who owned it. The whole area here used to be owned by the Matravers family, hence Worth Matravers. Always intrigues me the way villages get their names. But Dancing Ledge, now where does that get its name from? Well, I'll tell you that when we reach it. Well, this is where we leave the Priest's Way. That goes straight on up that way. We're going to head up to the right and head over to Dancing Ledge. But this tree is interesting. I've always liked that tree, something very attractive about it, and I've got so many photographs of it. I tend to take, every time I come, I tend to take photographs of that tree. But it's actually a tree with a bit of a gruesome past, because it is thought to have been a hangman's tree. So it's thought that people were hung from that sycamore tree. Gruesome, huh? But we're going to head up this way to Spyway Barn, which is at the top here, National Trust. And that's kind of got a name with a history as well, because it gets the name Spyway, I understand, from the smuggling trade. Because obviously this would have been, with all the quarries along the coast being ideal drop-off points for contraband, and then move them inland from there, this would have been one of the routes that the contraband would have taken. And so apparently that's where it got the name Spyway Barn from. Fascinating what you can learn. Oh, that was a tight squeeze getting through that stile. You don't expect people to have rucksacks. So there's a little bit of folklore here. Apparently, long ago, the person who owned this farm, Spyway Farm, used to deliberately let his bull out in order to terrorize the locals. Well, interesting. Wonder if it's true, or is it just made up? Don't know. Interesting story though. The other thing, apparently, it says on the notice board back there that Spyway Barn was used to store contraband in. I suppose it's a pretty good place to keep it. Is that the bull, I wonder? So the coast comes into view. So you can see where we'll be walking now. We've got Dancing Ledge is down the bottom here. Can't quite see it because of the cliffs in the way, but we're going to be following the coast all the way round, and I don't know how far yet, but the headland in the distance over there, far headland, is St Aldham's Head, so we could potentially go upon that and down the other side, but we'll see how we get on. Right, so here we are, that dancing ledge. Or at least you can see the upper quarry, of course, here, which is where the stone was quarried from. The ledge itself is further down. So now we can see the real dancing ledge, which is this ledge below me here. So where does it get its name? That's the question. Well, there are two theories. One suggestion is that it gets its name from the fact that the waves dance across the surface of the ledge. The other theory is that it gets its name from the fact that it's roughly the size of a ballroom dance floor. So you pay your money and you take your choice. And there are a lot of rock pipits here, as there usually are. One thing it does have, which is unusual, is a rock pool, a swimming pool, and there's someone swimming in it. That's not something you see that often, but I've swum in it. That's not a natural feature. That was actually blasted out of the rocks by quarrymen at the request of the local school headmaster, because he wanted to provide a safe place for the children to swim. It is really lovely now the sun's come out. Absolutely beautiful. Well, I'm down on the bottom ledge now. Actually, I tell you what, I'm hot. If I had me cosy, I think I'd go in for a swim as well. Well, it's really nice at the moment. So if you decide to come, I will warn you that it's not easy to get down, because you have to come down, basically have to come down here, which is not easy, especially when you're getting old like what I am. Oh, it was easier when I was younger. Now we get to see the ledge up close and personal. Well, I'm hoping I can put the drone up, but I don't know whether it's going to be windy up there. Well, I got the drone up, and I don't know how much footage I've got. Unfortunately, I was getting some strong wind warnings up there. Oh, isn't this just beautiful? Has actually been cleaned out not that long ago. It does get a bit cruddy, but it's a tidal rock pool, so as you can see the tide comes in and washes in and fills it up. It stays full up when the tide goes out. And there are remnants of the quarrying trade, square holes, and over here, and there's a name for this, I believe, and I can't think what it's called, but it's basically grooves worn by a sledge. So the sledge would have carried the stone, quarried stone, down these grooves, or worn the grooves in fact. To the edge of the ledge, which is just here, and they would have been offloaded into smaller boats that could moor against the ledge and carried out to larger vessels further out at sea, and then they'd have been shipped straight either round to Swanage or straight on to places like Margate. I think the harbour there, I think, was built of stone from this part of Dorset. So it's a lot of history in this place, and it's an absolutely awesome place to come, especially now the sun's come out. This is glorious. But the rocks are slippery. But just look at that. Not amazing? Some quite deep looking caves here, sea caves. Interesting to look inside those. Funny the things you remember, isn't it? I remember about this place coming here with my older brothers when I was young. I was a child, I don't know how old I was, but they came here and I came with them, and they were fishing from this point. And I remember they were fishing from a cliff top above me and dropped the line down into the mouth of this cave, sea cave, and I actually remember them catching a fish. It was quite a biggish fish. But I seem to remember they had to haul it all the way up, obviously to the top of the cliffs. And I think there was some doubt as to whether the fishing line would take the weight or would just break. Funny, I don't know why I remember that particular event. Maybe it's because it's unusual to catch fish, I don't know. I certainly never caught much when I was young. Rocks here are amazing. These dark grey patches in the lighter coloured stone. Were I a geologist, I'd probably know what that's called, but I don't. I love rocks, but I don't know any technicalities much about them. Well, here we are back at the swimming pool again. Plane going over there. Well, as wonderful as this is, we've got more walking to do, so I need to move on. Next problem is I've got to climb back up off of this lower ledge back onto the higher ledge. It's probably not that easy when I'm loaded up. Ooh, well, I made it. That was hard work climbing back up there. But I made it. I'm on the top ledge again now. It's a popular area with climbers as well. This is. Well, that was Dancing Ledge. I'm heading off out of it now. But look at this sky. Isn't that absolutely amazing? Sunny periods. But just look at it, absolutely clear, gorgeous day. So we're on the wonderful Dorset Coast Path now, heading towards Seacombe. There are other quarries between here and there, but I doubt if I will stop at them. I think if I do all the quarries, I'm going to run out of time. And I haven't had lunch yet. This is the next quarry. This one is Hedbury. So yes, we're going to skim past Hedbury. You can access it. It's actually aimed at climbers really, I think, but you have, in fact I filmed there. I'm sure last time I went down to Hedbury and filmed, because you can go into a cave at Hedbury and a quarry boring created a cave. So you go to the back of the cave, and there is actually a way you can actually get through to the next cave, which will bring you out of the next quarry. So you've got a nice little tunnel between two quarries. But yeah, I'm going to skip that one today. And this is the next quarry. This is where the cave would come out had we gone through the tunnel. That's a couple of the smaller quarries. The bigger ones are obviously Dancing Ledge, Seacombe and Winspit. So next stop is Seacombe for a late lunch, I think. And look at that for a view. Is that not absolutely awesome? If you like your views to give a feeling that you walk into them, which is what I quite like, then that does it all, doesn't it? Just breathtaking, and on a glorious day like this as well. I can't believe how the sky has cleared. That wasn't forecasted as far as I'm aware. That's another lovely view, isn't it? Back the way we've just come. You can see right back to Anvil Point. So we are just coming up to Seacombe, which is this huge quarry in front of us. I think it might be quite a good place to stop for lunch. Oh, I'm just heading down to the lower ledge at Seacombe, which I think will be my lunch stop for the day, late lunch stop. As always, like most of our quarries, involves a bit of a scramble to get down. So this is Seacombe, the lower ledge. Again, as with Dancing Ledge, there's an upper and a lower ledge at Seacombe. So this quarry was worked from kind of 18th century up to about 1920, when it ceased operations. There's another beautiful quarry along the Dorset coast. Well, I think that might be quite a nice place for lunch. And this will be my view. Cheers! I remembered the Bovril today, although it's so hot here, I'm not sure I need it, but I'll be grateful anyway. Beautiful.